In this video, I'm going to talk about how I got unstuck and the moment that I realized I needed to change the direction that my life was going, or things would just not be what they needed to be. So if that interests you and you're trying to get unstuck, keep watching. I'm going to get into just kind of a story so you all get context of it. So in 2018, I was actually on the show The Bachelorette, and then I was also starting and growing an apparel company. The apparel company I already started before I was on the show, and I was, working for myself. Relationships weren't going well. Finances weren't going well. I felt behind in life. There was a lot of things from a standpoint of just feeling stuck that I didn't know where to go. And from the outside, if you looked at social media, you would be like, oh man, like DMs are going crazy. Instagram followers, when, the algorithm was crazy, like going crazy. I was just on a TV show. I was a bodybuilding.com athlete. There was a lot of things from a social perception standpoint that you would be like, oh, Ricky's killing it. But like deep down, I was not feeling like that at all, because I wasn't. Like, I felt very stuck. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know where to go. I think I was looking at all the wrong things. I'll get into it, but I was just stuck. Right? So if you're in that place, keep watching. I'm going to talk to you about 4 things of how to get through it. Now, before we get into it, if you would just like this video and subscribe to the channel, because we're going to grow this thing no matter what. It is what it is. So first thing, I had to get real about what I wanted and why. Now, why is that important? I felt stuck and behind because I thought I needed stuff. So you see it now on social media, but especially in 2018 as well. Like, there was this kind of influx of like boom of, hey, we realize that we can get social attention by showing the stuff and showing life and everything. I was doing the same thing. All I would do was get on social media, take a shirtless picture. I would do whatever. I'd be in DMs with girls and whatever. And like, that was like life, right? Like, just showing this perfection of life, people showing their cars, their lifestyle or whatever. That might've been real or fake, but it didn't matter, because I felt like I was stuck, because it was like, I don't have what they have, whoever they are, right? And I felt like I needed stuff. So what I had to do was take a step back and identify what I actually really needed and what I truly wanted in life and why I wanted that. And so now, when I see those things, when I see the cars, I see this, whatever, it's like, hey, no problem having that, like, more power to you. But then I'm looking at what I want and what I need and why. I'm like, oh, it actually allows me to sit back and say, well, I don't really want that, or I don't really need that, because XYZ is more important to me. And I feel very happy about that. If you can identify for you, if you weren't comparing yourself to anybody else, if social media, if you couldn't post about it, if you couldn't see other people's stuff, what the life that you actually wanted to live and work towards that, you will feel a lot better for 2 reasons. 1, you're going to feel a little less stuck, because you're like, oh, I felt stuck because of somebody else's expectations. And 2, it's going to give you an aspiration, like an aspirational dream, to be like, oh, now I can go and create this thing over here. Like, it kind of happened to me, this is a, tangent. This happened to me and Carly, like when we moved to Texas. Like, we lived in San Diego, we lived in 2 separate apartments. Like, it costs a lot of money. When we came out here to buy a house and get a house built, they told us like the housing price, we were like, we can get all that for this. Like, okay. And so when we got out here, we're like, oh, wow, that just opened our, no, there's things that we want to do for us. We don't know anybody who owns land. We're like, no, let's own some land. Let's put a tiny home on it. Let's down the road, let's get some bigger land. Let's build a ranch out there. And it has nothing to do with what anybody else or any content or whatever. Like, no, there's just a lifestyle that we want to live. And so it allowed us to be aspirational versus sitting back and saying, well, it's like great to live here by the beach and pay this and like buy this car or whatever, because it's what everybody else is doing. It's like, no, let's take a step back and figure out what we want to do, right? So when you do that, you're able to be aspirational about what you want to do. You're going to feel a lot less stuck. Number 2, actually look around. So this also happened after I got off the show. I was able to get a job working for a digital agency as a business analyst. And it was actually really cool, because I was working with a team of other business analysts, and they were about my age. I think at the time I was 27, 28. And I realized, I was like, nobody's married. Nobody has kids. Nobody, everybody's just kind of trying to figure out life. And that was the other thing that I was looking at. I was like, man, people who are like almost 30, like I thought they had it all together, and they have the house, the white picket fence, and all this other type of stuff. So I was comparing myself to that. But when I actually looked around, I was like, people my age who I'm working day to day, like, they're kind of in the same situation as me. And there were people who were older at that company that were in the same situation. And then when you actually look around, you're going to realize like more people are in that same situation than you, which is good. And I don't say that to compare, but I say that to like level set. And it's because I think of, kind of the gym. If you go to a gym, right, you might see people on Instagram that are just like posting their pictures and everything in the gym. They're the most jacked, they're the most ripped or whatever. But if you go to just a normal gym, most people are just regular average people going there to get a workout. And so what we end up doing is we compare ourselves and we compare our lives to like, this perfection that we see online, but we don't look around of like when you're actually in a space and being like, oh, everybody's kind of around where I'm at. And you might even realize you're like, no, I might be a little bit above average. So actually look around at your life and where you are, and you might feel a little bit better because not everybody is doing as great as you think. And you're comparing yourself to some level that it might not even be attainable because it might not even be real, because as you know, social media is just put all the best things on there and hopefully people like it. I get it. Sometimes I'm a byproduct of it because we're all human. The third thing I did was I actually made a plan. So first off, in this video, I talked about relationships, finances, felt left behind. So I started to actually make a financial plan for myself. And this really helped me because this was the first time where I actually looked at finances and looked at, okay, I actually need to start making a little bit of money. I actually need to start saving better. I actually need to start managing the business money a little bit better and not just being like, hey, let's just spend on all these things and let's actually have a little bit more strategy behind it. That would help me. And that did help me because when I hit rock bottom financially, it's like in another video I've talked about, and I'll talk about it again. I realized, I need to get more financially savvy because I love working hard, but I wanted my future self to be able to work smarter and not harder. Or if I did work harder, at least it was smarter and I could basically triple my efforts, my output, right? So I made a plan for that. And then the other thing was I actually hopped back on Bumble. So that was from a relationship plan. Now, before you step back and judge me, you're like, wait, how was your relationship plan getting back on Bumble or getting on a dating app? Because it seems like dating apps are just swipe, swipe, swipe. This isn't it. Well, back at the time, all I was focused on was Instagram. I had hundreds of DMs from women and everything like that. So everything was not about like dating. We know what it was about, right? So when I actually got on Bumble, I was like, let me actually meet women to actually go on dates with and actually spend some time with. And I had a conversation with my dad because I was like, I wasn't on dating apps for years. And he was like, well, you actually might be missing out on someone who lives 2 minutes from you, but you all have such different routines. Like you might actually be compatible, but you'll never see them because you have a different routine. Maybe you go to work 5 minutes earlier, or maybe they hit the gym, or maybe they leave the gym 10 minutes earlier than you do. So you actually never see them. When I hopped back on Bumble that day, I actually ran back into my now wife, Carly, and I had met her in person 3 years prior because we actually worked at the same building. So she was a familiar face. Swipe right, we got coffee, and the rest is history, right? So that was a part of the thing. I was like, let me make a plan from a relationship standpoint so that I can start doing relationships right. And then also from a feel behind standpoint, I was like, let me just focus on myself because I might feel behind somebody else, but I might feel way ahead of other people. So if I'm always in this game where I'm like, ooh, I'm behind you, I'm ahead of you, then I'm always focused on somebody else instead of focusing on myself. So I started to focus on myself, and that helped so much more. The last thing I did, number 4, was I executed daily. It didn't always look sexy. It didn't always look great, but I did something every single day that allowed me to push forward so I didn't feel as stuck, right? Whether it was, and I started doing this so like to a T that I had every single day, I think it was $5 or $10 go auto transfer from my checking to my savings. I was so adamant about, okay, let me do better with saving. When my paycheck hit, I would save some, and then every day I would I think it might have been $5, my checking to my saving. And I was like, and I did that because what it allowed me to do was in the past, I would always like, let me go buy lunch. It'll be $5, it'll be $10. I was like, wait, no. That money is going to go to my savings because I need to do better at this because I want to set myself up and I want to be a little bit better at that. I wanted to execute daily on that. When it came to relationship, even when Carly and I started dating, it was like, and as times, as I matured more, I was like, okay, let me do something nice for her each day. Let me say something nice to her. Let me compliment her each day. Let me do things that move the needle forward in an area where I previously felt stuck. I'm now slowly becoming better each day. And then over time, you look back and you're like, I'm not stuck anymore because I chipped away at it. So I hope that this helps you out. Again, getting stuck, it sucks, or feeling stuck, it sucks, but you can get yourself out of it. And it's a mindset shift. And it's also a movement shift. You have to get up and move. Again, number 1, get real about what you want and why you want it. Sometimes you think that you want something, but you're like, you want it because somebody else has it, not because you genuinely want it. Number 2, look around. Most people are in the same boat that you're at, but if you look at some level of perfection or what you perceive as perfection, you're going to miss that just, the day-to-day of what's happening and who's around you, and the people that you can actually connect with as well. And number 3, make a plan. I made a plan. It helped. And again, the plan doesn't have to be big, robust. It doesn't have to be sexy. It can be very, very basic, but make the plan. And number 4, piggybacking off of that, execute on the plan. If you do a small thing every single day, small things, small tasks every single day add up to big wins down the road. You might not see the fruit of the labor immediately, but down the road, you're going to see it. I promise you, I'm a byproduct of it. I do this every single day of things that are important to me, and it helps so much. And again, it doesn't always seem sexy, but I promise you that it works. If you enjoyed this video, again, like, comment, subscribe, share. I'll see you all in the next video. Peace.